doing my research and everything, going through everything, I seen that Jay-Z was robbed a couple times.
Oh yeah, so he they outside on the benches in the projects and shit. I'm upstairs. Like I said, I believe Jazzo, Tata, all of them was there. They come knock on the door and tell me about Jay getting robbed. And I'm like, what? Well, from who? Who would do this? Who would come in the projects and do that? You know what I'm saying? Unless it's somebody in the projects. But come to find out, it was a bunch of guys from some of the projects that I grew up with, because that's where I used to live before I went to Marcy. So I'm like, I'll go get your shit back. So I go up there, you know, we all go back up there, and when we get in there, we get in Tompkins projects. We get surrounded and shit. A group of guys surround us and everybody got guns but us. So one of the guys come out and be like, yo, who you looking for? I'm like, yo, let me talk to him, because I knew one of the faces said, yo, let me talk to him. So my homeboy come over that I grew up with, that I think everything is all right. So first thing he says, yo, why they here? You know, Jazz and Tata, and I'm like, they just came up here with me and shit. Man, tell them to go back. So I said them, yo, y'all go back and shit. You know what I'm saying? They turn around, Jay and them turn around. I'm the only one there. And now I'm surrounded by them. You get what I'm saying? And they all got guns. And I'm looking at one or two of them like, yo, bro, we was in third grade together, bro. We in second grade together. Like, what the fuck? We rode bikes. We played ball together. What's going on here? And he was like, yo, that's the only reason why you alive. It's the only reason why you gonna be able to walk out of here alive, bro. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? This is what this shit result to and shit, you know? So I turn around with nothing. You know what I mean? I turn around with nothing and leave and shit. And it was like, you know, some things you're gonna have to take as an L. You know what I mean? I could have went back to Marcy and got a whole different crowd. I got a whole different circle of people, but that shit would have done nothing but brought harm. That shit would have brought, you know, nothing but violence. And I never was about that violent shit, so I chalked that one up, you know what I'm saying, as far as that. But that just go to show some things that you think it is, it really ain't. And you can get yourself into some shit that you don't really want to. So, you know, you just have to take an L on it. And that was one incident. And the next incident, I got into a shootout the last time he got robbed. It was dude from inside the projects, you know what I'm saying, you know, caught Jay in the building slipping and shit, you know, get robbed again, and then I run outside and looking for the dude, and I get into a shootout with him and almost go to jail. Like, you know, I was there for him, you know what I mean? It's quite a few things that happened that I put my life on the line for him, and it was some things that I wouldn't have liked him to be involved in, you know? So it's been a lot of things, bro. But those are definitely some of the things I remember early on with them guns to my head, you know?
Yeah, man, sounds wild, man. You know, sounds like quite an experience. And you know, going through all this, was there ever any times where, like, you know, I know you ended up, you know, getting indicted, you know, later on, but was there ever any times where it was like close calls with the cops or anything, like maybe pulling you guys over and letting you go or anything like that?
Well, you know, the cops are always gonna play their position. As far as close calls, man, I moved differently. I was moving differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I moved with respect. I moved like a boss. Like, this is why I was under the radar from the government. I always had respect for the police. I wasn't one of those dudes that, I'll be in the trenches, but you're not gonna see me. You know what I'm saying? If a police saw me and he passed the block, but he came back around the block, I'm not on that block. So I had a mutual respect. I had a respect for the police on what the things they had to do, because that's their job. And I want to say in a story I wrote before about, you know, even the police idolize us. it's times that I've been stopped where they just wanted to see my jewelry or they just wanted to check out my car and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is a what, a Lexus, or damn, is that chain real? And then before they let me go, they'll be like, yo, make sure you tell your boy straighten out his license and shit like that. So, you know, it was cops that looked out for me sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It was cops that saved me from getting raided, you know what I mean? Just because I had respect for them. So it was nothing that they pulled me over 3 a.m. and say, look, you stay out projects, right? With the girl, Michelle, and she got 2 kids, they'll know all of that. And they'll say, yo, we just telling you before you find your door off the hinges 3 a.m, why don't you get out of there? 24 hours later, I'm gone, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was a kind of, I had respect for them, they had respect for me. They knew who I was, but you know, like I said, they wasn't on a level of catching me. So that's pretty much how the government got involved.
At one point, you end up catching a case. How many different cases did you have from hustling?
Wow. When I told you about the gut feeling in Trenton, I had a few cases in Trenton that I had a banging ass lawyer though. You know what I'm saying? I had a few cases in Trenton, but they was adding up, and once they start to add up, it creates a meatball, and then you're gonna have to do some time. I got fed up with Trenton, whereas one day I just was walking to the store and the police jumped out on me, put the cuffs on me, and I get downtown and they pull out a bag of drugs. That was like the last stopping point for me with Trenton, knowing like, nah, I can't fuck with Trenton, they corrupt. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up moving to Maryland, but the charges, I still had mad charges in Trenton. When I got down to wanting to address those charges, I want to say they was offering me like 7 years. I was like, yo, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do it. Like I said, so my lawyer, he kept draining me for more and more money. I got that 7 down to 4 years with 2 years stipulation. Then I paid more money. I got that shit down to a county bid. You know what I'm saying? That shit, he drained me down to a county bid. And I had to do a year up at the workhouse, Trenton State Workhouse. And I want to say that was one of the best resort joints I ever did time in. like that shit was like a resort for me, because nothing had changed. Like I was still living like I was on the street. Only difference was I wasn't getting no pussy in there. But I had everything else and shit. Jay and my other home, Jay, my Uncle Buzz in Panama is who I left on the street when I went to do time. And when I went to do that, Jay and them used to send me, they used to send me an ounce or 2 of weed every now and then. I don't know if you know, an ounce or 2 in jail of weed is a nice amount. You know what I'm saying? Back then in I went to jail in 92, 91. So, you know, sending me an ounce or 2 of weed would hold me down, right? Man, I ended up figuring out a system where them niggas was sending me a half a pound at a time. I'm getting a half a pound or a pound, whatever the fuck I want in there. So now I'm running the joint, yo. I'm talking about, I'm running the joint. I got a job in the medical department where I could run around the building and, you know, and distribute and pick up and all of this. Like, that shit was like a country resort for me and shit. That shit was set up nice. So that was one of my bids. Give or take, out of a lifetime, they got about a good 10 years out of me. You know, of in and out, in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? My longest stretch was 5 years. And I would say I got away with a lot more than I should have been doing time with. That's why I'm fortunate and lucky to be here even talking.